So if I was trying to give tips to someone who was looking for a house, I'd find out, or I'd ask them to think about if they want to live with other people or if they want to live by themselves. And if they want to live with other people, which is often what we need to do financially, I know there are like websites and online places where you can find people to share houses with. And if their situation was that they were on benefits, maybe they could go. I'd suggest going to maybe a social housing service, but I also think that might not be the way to go as well. I'd say to think about what they want. That really helps. Almost like the dream home thing, and then scale it back. And be confident when they go out and try to find a house and a home. Assume confidence. That really helps.
Have help from friends or family, and be really consistent. So you're never going to find something the first time you look.
Looking for a house is very difficult because I do get tired very easily and I can't drive. So there's a lot of walking around that has to happen, getting from place to place. And I think that's part of the reason it's taking me quite a while to find somewhere, is because I can only look at a certain number of places per day that I go out and look. Most places are around on a Saturday. Most places have a Saturday inspection, but I can only get to sort of, a couple of them. Whereas someone with a car might be able to get to a lot more of them, but that's an access issue. A lot of people with disabilities can't drive, so.
One of the things that I ended up doing was going through a housing service, and they told me that ex-real estate agent was good with dealing with people with a disability, and so I ended up making an appointment directly with one of the estate agents and sitting down with them and my support worker, and being able to discuss things with my support worker made it a lot easier.
General tips is you just keep on applying for houses. You apply for as much as you can in your price bracket, and hopefully one of those houses might pay off and you'll be able to get one.
Maybe think about how long you intend to be there for, and how long you're going to be there for, because that plays into your future career and passions and occupations, and if you're close to where your place of employment, if you're close to that, close to friends and family, that's an important thing.
Well, just make sure the place is suitable first. Maybe ask if you can go and see it before, just signing up for it. And just sort of ask, about the rent, how much, how often, how they want it paid, so that you're very clear in your mind. If you have animals, maybe work out if you say I do or don't have animals. Some people are now telling me they say they don't, so they can get to move in. If you say to me as the landlord, I've got a dog and a cat, I can't say, no, you're not applicable because of the dog and the cat. And that was new laws brought in this year by the RSCCA because they had too many people moving into rental who were having to give up very much loved animals so they changed the laws so that they can't say yes or no just on the cat or dog.
When you're looking for a home, it's really important to be aware of what you actually need in terms of access, especially if you have a disability. For me, I can't drive, so it's very important to me that I be close to public transport. One option for me might be obtaining a mobility scooter, which I don't have at the moment. So I'm looking for either places that are fairly close to a train station that I could get to with a mobility scooter, or things that are within walking distance for me, which is a very small distance, to a tram or a bus, or something that can get me into the city where I work. Just be aware of travel time as well, like how much can you actually handle in terms of travel. I think fatigue is a big thing for people with a lot of different disabilities. And if you need to get places, just be aware of where you're located in regards to your community and your work.
With my accessibility, it's not just in the house. It needs to be situated. The house needs to be situated in a place where I can get to places. So near public transport. And I think that's important for a lot of people with disability. Not just physical disability, all disability. Transport is the key. To get to places, to be involved in your community, that's really important. And to be in a safe environment as well.
I need to know if it's even just accessible, and they'll just tell you, come and have a look on the day. I don't have the time or the ability to get around to lots of places in a short period of time. I need to know if it's ground floor, if it's accessible, if there's a no-step shower, if it's a shower over bath. No good. I need to know if my bed will fit. If I can't take my bed, it's quite pointless.
Renting privately is not an option because so many landlords won't let you make changes to the house, so you've got to buy the house, and I don't know who's wealthy enough to buy a house, so yeah, but I think, as soon as you do get in a wheelchair, that's a harder thing, because then you've got to be sure that you're not sort of on the ground floor, no matter where you live, unless you can do a few stairs. I think you really need to know what your own barriers are or what your own limitations are. So if you go to live in a block of flats, it wouldn't work if you're on the 10th floor, because if the building was burning down, how would you get out? Because you can't use the lift. So you might be able to go through your real estate agent and, sort of say what you want, and there might be a way that you can look at. Maybe it's about doing your research as well, if you have got enough to rent privately, about doing your research and seeing if you can maybe get someone to make, or maybe there's a makeshift ramp that you can get that will help you. Or I think you just need to do your research and just be honest and upfront straight away when you're looking at the property. Say, okay, I've got this ramp which I can bring with me. It doesn't screw in, but it just holds in place nicely. I think as long as you're not damaging the property, I can't see why they wouldn't let you. And if they don't let you, I would encourage you to look at, is it discrimination? And
I have had experience of having an interior built to my specifications, and I didn't realise how much energy it takes to be up and down stools and steps all the time. So asking that of a landlord, I understand that is quite costly, and so because I can adapt. But I would actually prefer the freedom of saying, hey landlord, yes, I can afford your property, I can afford to live there, and I'll take really good care of it, but do you mind if maybe you put in a false floor or lower some light switches, things like that, just to make my life a little easier.
As I've gotten older, I've got different sorts of requirements for using space. So my access requirements right now include using a scooter to go off that. So it's like a mobility scooter. It's fairly big-ish, and you charge it up by powering it up by the wall. So if I want to go shopping, I have to have the scooter because I just can't carry stuff anymore. And I'll want to bring the scooter inside the house. So my scooter has to come inside my house and be charged up there or somewhere undercover. And I don't use the scooter within the house. That would be kind of unusual, like if I'd, injured myself in some fashion. So for me, the whole place doesn't have to be accessible, but certainly the way in and the way out have to be big enough, for move my scooter around.
For me, I'm also looking for somewhere that is scent-free, which is an unusual one. But I think for a lot of people with immune disorders, or for whatever reason, if people are very sensitive to scent, which can be caused by a number of different disabilities, people with multiple chemical sensitivities. So what I'm looking for is a place that hasn't had a lot of air freshener, hasn't had a lot of incense or scented candles, because that stuff really sticks to the walls and it can give me migraines, it can make me very sick. And I can end up house or bedbound in the future if I get the wrong place in that regard. So for me, it's about finding the places that have been kept clean of that stuff.
Tell your support worker everything you want and need, and get them to help you do it. And be prepared to wait. Nothing happens straight away. I think they would be the two big ones. Yeah.
It definitely helps to have help. And if you have an idea that you're having to move and you're looking at relying on the private rental market, you need to look well in advance so you have an idea of what you get for your dollar, and you need to know realistically what you can get for your dollar. And my suggestion is to look close to your, you will always look close to your, familiar areas, but you will need to look at compromising on price or something. There's always something that has to give. Because if you're looking for the cheapest options, because that's what we can afford, everybody else is going to be looking for that as well.